Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the Unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Hey there folks, this is An Orlando Archer, and welcome to Dark Souls 3. And for those of you watching my channel, the reason I didn't get to this game right when it launched was I just kind of wanted to experience it on my own, just to get an idea of what it was like. There were things I liked about this game, and there were things I didn't like about this game, but we'll get to those later. We're starting a new game, new character. I'm going to be going for a two-handed build, similar to the one I used in Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. I apologize if the audio levels are a little bit messy. I can't get my regular headset to work anymore, and I'm using the built-in microphone with some microphone boost, so there may be a little bit of, I don't know, choppiness with some of the audio, but let's get right into it. As you saw from the intro, we are the Unkindled Ash, and we have been awakened because the linking of the fire has been threatened. Why it's been threatened? Who knows? Somebody knows. We're gonna go get some answers. One of the things I like about this game is it keeps the nebulous nature of your character intact. Despite the fact that you're this unkindled ash that is apparently a failsafe for the linking of the fire, your past is still your own. You can invent whatever backstory you want on your character. Now, those of you who watched my last video know that I usually pick Knight, but for this playthrough I decided to go with the Northern Warrior. The main reason is the Northern Warrior, his battle axe is probably one of the highest damage weapons you can have at the beginning, which makes it very easy to kind of steamroll through this. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get our greatsword until much later in the playthrough, but we'll use the axe and a bastard sword as we go. I've had a pretty good character creation guide on Google because I wanted to make this character like Guts from Berserk, which is kind of fitting because I think Guts did start out with a bastard sword, if I remember correctly in the anime. Now, this is the Cemetery of Unkindled Ash. It's also known as the Cemetery of the Untended Graves. And what we're doing right here is we're just making our way through. Obviously, our character's just woken up, doesn't really know a whole lot about what's going on. This is going to be the first challenge many of you have probably faced in the game. We call this, would you call it the Crystal Lizard or the Crystal Giant? I mean, I'm going to call it the Crystal Giant. He seems like a jerk. Now, the thing about him is, he is very tough if you don't know what you're doing. I'd almost consider him the first major challenge of the game. That being said, he is somewhat clumsy. He teaches you the rules fairly simplistically if you're paying attention. He's fast, he can dash really quickly. That being said, he's also a little bit clumsy at times. I should have gotten a critical hit on that. Much like Bloodborne, if you stagger an enemy enough, you can get a critical hit on them. Like that. There, we got him. Okay. You can see that does a lot of damage. Now don't get greedy, because he'll mess you up if you try to get greedy. Like that. Let's heal up. That was my mistake. I thought I could take him. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Goodbye, Mr. Crystal Giant. I shall call you the Crystal Giant from henceforth. And he dropped a Titanite scale, which I'm still getting used to the menus. I apologize. Titanite scale. Let's check out the description of this. As before, I won't be reading the descriptions. I'll just be posting them up. I'll only comment on things that I find interesting. As in the case of this at the bottom there, in rare cases, crystal lizards devour souls, growing to monstrous proportion and leaving these great scales. So I guess the crystal lizards themselves can also, eat souls when the situation calls for it. Alright, let's go. I think we got everything here. We're doing okay so far. We haven't died. Now, like everybody else, first playthrough, died pretty horribly. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Alright, so let's go through here. Just like before, the water will slow you down quite a bit. I'm not gonna heal right this second. No need to heal right this second. I'm gonna try and speak as clearly and concisely as I can. I know it may sound a little bit low at times, but I'll keep talking as much as possible. For the purposes of this video, this is mostly just a test to get me back in the swing of things. I'm going to try and clear the first boss and possibly a little bit of Firelink Shrine. But for right now, we're just going to rest at this bonfire here. And for some reason, they give you a gesture from this bonfire. Now, just like Dark Souls 1, and I love that they brought this back, you can see the destinations that you're heading to in the distance. That is where we're headed, which to me is great. And you can see up here, that's another area we'll be going to. And I love that. The only thing I would say that disappoints me is that we can warp right off the bat, just like Dark Souls 2, which honestly I feel should have been... I like the Dark Souls 1 method. It allowed for a more concise level design, and it meant that there were more shortcuts scattered throughout the world. It made it feel like the world was more lived in. Now granted, there is an in-game explanation for this. As we saw in the intro, we're in Lothric, which is, you know, the converged lands of the Lords of Cinder. So all the lands of the Lords of Cinder, who appear to be previous warriors or whatever you want to call it, that linked the fire. Wow, I made that. Previous whatever that made the had linked the fire. They've been long asleep, which is very interesting because it seemed Dark Souls 1 implied that linking the fire would consume you. But it seems as though either the fire has weakened over time and no longer, you know, consumes the entire being. God, I am really sorry, folks. I can't talk today. Excuse me. It no longer consumes the entirety of your being, or there's something else going on, and it's just maybe we were just never shown. I mean, we're never actually told that someone who links the fire necessarily disappears. You know, in Dark Souls 1, your character was subsumed by the flame, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he or she, depending on what gender you play as, it doesn't necessarily mean they were consumed. It just maybe means that the flame enveloped you, and then who knows what happened to you after that. We're gonna go ahead and heal up. We got our first boss fight. Let's check out our gear real quick. We chose the Northern Warrior, as I said. We're gonna go ahead and look at his gear. The Northern Warrior reminds me of a Viking. The Northern Warrior actually might be the best person for some of the early bosses because there are a few early enemies that use cold in order, you know, to harm you. And the Northern Warrior's armor actually possesses better resistance to cold. God, why did I do that? I always do that at least once in a playthrough. I'm pretty bad about that. Obviously, Northern Warrior, nothing special really. Now this is something new. This is the Ashen Estus Flask. Yeah. Now Dark Souls 3 has introduced something new called focus points, and your FP bar is how you use magic and your special techniques. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this as a change. For magic, I think it's fine. Magic should have some kind of mana bar that you can refill or whatever. That being said, I don't think that using a special technique for your weapon necessarily necessitates a wholly separate resource. It should just go from stamina, for my opinion. We're going to look at our axe here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see it has a skill, and the skill uses focus points. And when you use it, it lets out a war cry that will boost your attack. Every weapon has a different skill. Shields, most of them, like this one, the medium-sized ones, are parry shields. Some of the heavier ones, you can no longer parry with them, but you can sort of shield stomp with them, which is kind of neat. So there is variety in your skills and how you do things. I'm going to try and use this thing real quick. Do I have to two-hand it? I think I do. Yep, I have to two-hand it. Okay. And you have to two-hand the weapon that you want to use this this skill on, which I'm going to do right before we beat the crap out of this guy. I guess we're okay. Root of the sword. I don't know, folks. Do you think this is a good idea? I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, especially not with that weird tentacle crap crawling all over him. But you know what? We didn't come this far just to, you know, turn around and go sit back in our grave. So let's go ahead and boost. Let's take the sword out. I don't know about this, Davey. Oh no! Oh no! I know this guy's a boss, so I'm not wasting any time. Nope. This guy isn't that bad. This is Udix Gundyr. Udix, I believe, is a word that means judge. I'm not 100% sure about that. It means judge or champion. Now you want to be careful with this guy. He's got some really bad swinging attacks. Oh crap. And you also want to be careful with the second phase of this boss fight, because he's going to do that and get more monstrous. Also, he will leap into the air. You can see, for a first boss, he's actually... he's not bad. He could be much worse. Buddy, calm down. Yeah, compared to the Asylum Demon, who needed basically a trick to beat him, Udix Gundyr is not that tough. Now, the Air of Fire destroyed. it's implied that most of the enemies you kill in this game are true heirs to the fire. They're true undead. You are an unkindled ash, which is a completely different type of undead. You do not go hollow upon death. You simply return to the bonfire and come back. Now, let's go ahead and make our way through here. We'll do a little bit of Firelink Shrine. As I said, this is just a test video. We'll tackle the rest of the game a little bit later. Hopefully the audio turns out okay on this. Once again, our character always has to brute force the doors open. I'm a man. I'm gonna brute force these doors because I don't care. God forbid I appreciate the massive architecture and the time and construction investment it took to make these structures. No, I'm not about that life. I've come for your souls. I mean, I guess a northern warrior would be that way. He's probably waking up going, what the heck happened to me? If the northern warriors are anything like Vikings, he probably died. He probably died in the most ridiculous manner possible. Probably got too drunk after a raid, fell off his boat, and just woke up as unkindled ash. And like, what do we do with this guy? I don't know. Let's just throw him in the fire. I don't know, man. Yeah, you're gonna want to lay down there, buddy. Okay, we're just gonna clear out the side areas real quick. As I said, I'm just gonna show you guys Firelink. After this, there's quite a bit to explore in Firelink, so this won't be that long of it. Of course, they have to stick a dog on you almost immediately. Now, unlike Dark Souls 2, the enemies never despawn. What that means is the enemies will always come back, and they will always, they'll always respawn. Which, I don't know, I kind of appreciated that change. It wasn't. A lot of people will say that the Souls games need a difficulty slider. I don't agree with that. But I think despawning the enemies isn't a bad idea, as long as you provide another way to get the materials that they might drop. Because if you're trying to farm enemies for materials, you don't want to waste time running around over and over again. Now, this is a new item. There's no longer humanity in the game. This is something new. I'll let you guys read this. But essentially, this is the new humanity, but the Unkindled are not truly human, they're not truly undead, at least as far as I can tell. As it says, you can never truly claim the embers that burn within a champion's bosom. What it means is, the regular undead are technically better than you. They are true undead. You're just the leftovers that they sort of had to scrape by with, because they didn't really have a choice. Which, is fair. Not too many important items here. A few here and there. Now, I'm probably going to regret this, but there's a kind of not a mini boss. There's a guy over here. He's kind of a jerk, but he has a weapon you might find interesting if you're a dex build. Now, you can tell this guy has no fear because he's not wearing clothes and he's wielding a katana. Because, that's kind of badass, I would say. All right, buddy. Come on. You can do it. Swing at me. Come on, bro. Come on, you can do it. Now, beware, he can cause bleed with that katana. What you want to do is bait his attack so that he's just out of range when he swings at you. But beware, he can also do that to you. If you want to cheese him, the best way to cheese him is to get him near the edge and knock him off. Okay, we're going to roll away from that. Hey, buddy, what's up? You can also do some plunging attacks. I don't really recommend that. It's whatever. But just don't let him hit you multiple times in a row, because he will completely mess you up. Come on. Also, enemies are much better at parrying, so don't assume that you can just parry him or you can swing at him willy-nilly. He'll parry you, and he will kill you. He's much stronger than you, or his weapon is much stronger. Oh, hi. Yeah, I should have watched out for that. Luckily, I can roll like the best of them, Woo! Ooh, he almost parried me. I got lucky. The stairs saved me. Come on, big guy. I didn't have this much trouble with him last time. Basically, what you're going to want to do is get 1 or 2 hits off and then get away. Save your stamina just in case he manages like a fast attack like that. Oh, hi. No, we won't be doing that. I don't think so. Luckily, I still have enough Estus flask. He might kill me, which would be hilarious. You all can laugh at me. Ooh, you're a quick one. You're a quick one. I'll give you that. See, what he's doing is he's waiting to parry. He ain't no dummy. Alright, we lucked out on that. He almost had me. Thanks, buddy. For those of you who are the lovers of the Uchi katanas, you got it. That's the easiest way to start out as a dex build. Obviously, I'm a strength man, strength all day, every day, but I'll show you what it is. Yeah. As you can see, its weapon skill is much different than the battle axe, but I like the battle axe better. It just seems to do more damage. And let's check out his clothes. His clothes are kind of hilarious. So, oh, a terribly worn shirt? I don't know, guys. I think it's more of a rag at this point. But essentially, you know, it's kind of an inside joke. It's saying, oh, he was so good, he could dodge, but his clothes still got, you know, messed up. Okay, buddy. Does he have gloves, too? I apologize, I keep hiccuping for some reason. Yeah. Same stuff on there. You don't really need to hang on to it. It's kind of funny to look at sometimes. I think I kept it the first playthrough, but I'll probably get rid of it in a little bit. And this is Firelink Shrine. Is it the Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 1? Probably not. I'm going to go with no. However, that being said, there's plenty of people here to talk to.
Welcome to the bonfire, Unkindled One. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
Oh, well, thank you.
Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels.
Now, you may have seen from the intro cutscene, she put that crown over her head. It's more of a, I think it's to blind her, because we're going to find out later that the Firekeepers don't have eyes, so it's possible they hide that. That's all you say. I'm not going to buy anything just yet. I'm not going to level up just yet. I got other people to talk to. Hey, buddy.
Another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We Unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we are talking true legends with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
And he gives us a gesture. This is, crestfallen bro. There's always a guy who's, like, muttering about how it's impossible, I can't do it. There's always that one guy, and this is that guy.
Don't you think?
No, dude, I actually don't think that. I'm actually, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking true legends, though...
Yeah, alright, buddy. He doesn't say much beyond that. He's important later for a quest line. Alright, so what we're gonna do is... This is the first thing you have to do. Take this big old coiled sword we stole from that big ugly Gundyr guy. Just jam it in the fire. Alright. Cool. Now we can rest. Thank you. Alright. A couple more people to talk to in here. Only 3. Just like Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls 1 and Majula, the place fills up pretty quick. Now these are the thrones of the 5 Lords of Cinder. This is one of them. For some reason he didn't leave. He's like, you know, I'm good.
All that Unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver, no need to be coy. Have a closer look.
I'm trying.
Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast-fading flame must be licked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. Knowest thou?
Okay.
So I may. Now, do not be away over long.
He's a bit of an odd duck. I kind of feel like he was just so happy to become a Lord of Cinder that he didn't really care about it. Now it's interesting that he calls it a reenactment of the linking of the first flame, or the first linking of the flame, because there weren't 5 thrones, there weren't even 5 souls originally in Dark Souls. For those of you who played Dark Souls 1, you know, you're kind of looking at this guy going, buddy, I don't know if you really know what you're talking about. But much like everything else, things get distorted over time. Hello?
Pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
Okay, crazy lady.
Ashen One, if my wares are not to thy satisfaction, bring me umbral ash. With ash, I'll fashion new wares. Is it not our sorry fate to sup on death?
I don't really know how sorry your fate is. You seem to be laughing about this a lot.
Knowest thou of that soppy gossip? That cordial intrusion layeth the path to embers. And so thou art in need of a soapstone, Ashen One. Then thy pockets will overflow with souls to trade to me.
Do you have to laugh after every sentence?
Ashen One, is it not?
I just wanted to exhaust all her dialogue. Alright, so she gave us some good advice here. We're gonna go ahead and purchase a soapstone. Never hurts to have one of those. The rest of this stuff, I could really care less. I mean, if you really want to buy a talisman right off the bat, use miracles. I'll eventually be using miracles on this guy, but that's gonna have to wait. Alright, as you all know, I usually go 2-handed miracles. Cause you gotta praise the sun. You gotta praise it all day, every day. And who is this? As if everybody doesn't already know. What's up, man? Somebody pointed out in another video, sorry that got a little loud, he's been working on that same S-Stock since Dark Souls 1. Andre the Blacksmith has been working on one weapon for umpteen thousands of years. I hope that S-Stock is the best weapon ever forged, because he's just been hammering away.
Well, a newcomer, I see.
Indeed.
I am Andre. I serve at this shrine.
You don't
as
say.
a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
Really? I would never have guessed that given your current surroundings.
Weapons and protection are sturdy enough by and large. But when overused, they'll eventually break. When their durability is low, repair becomes a necessity. Use a powder, or simply rest at a bonfire. But should chance impel them break, bring them me. I'll hammer them back into shape. They take no pleasure in breaking, I assure ye. So handle them with care, if you would.
Oh, I will. You gotta trust a weapon with your life. Thankfully, they didn't make durability so paper thin in this game like they did in the original version of Dark Souls 2. They fixed it in Scholar of the First Sin, but obviously, you know, it was still kind of a pain.
There are two ways to smith weapons. Simple reinforcement is one, and infusion the other. Reinforcement is straightforward. It strengthens a weapon without altering its property. Infusion is a more advanced form of smithing that infuses an element. Reinforcement requires titanite, and infusion requires gems. Bring the stones, and I'll do the smithing. It's my purpose, after all. In battle, your weapons are your only friends. Forge them well, and they won't let you down.
Oh, thanks for the gesture, buddy.
Another matter. Infusing weapons with gems requires a special kind of coal. My humble coals won't be any use infusing more unusual gems. I know, it's an awful shame, but it's all I have. Oh, please don't give me that look. Believe it or not, I'm quite thin-skinned.
I don't think you're very thin-skinned, Andre.
Oh, by the way, if you find any Estus shards, bring them here. They can be used to reinforce either of your Estus flasks. Without those flasks, you'd want for life or focus. And they'll always stay with you. Why not treat them well? Huh?
God, you're worse than the handmaiden. You laugh after the end of every sentence, too.
Weapons and
Okay.
But
no problem. We're going to go ahead and allot our Estus. We can actually switch. This is very useful for sorcerers because you can allot more Estus to the FP, the Ashen Estus. But since we're not using anything crazy, we're just going to go with this. And right now we don't need to infuse or reinforce anything. So
just... be careful. I don't want to see my work squandered.
Do you just laugh about everything? Come on, Andre. You used to be cool, man. You used to say, "Be careful out there. Neither of us wants to see you go hollow." Thanks, man. You know, that shows you're looking out for me. This one, he's like, "Man, I swear to God, if I have to find your axe later and reinforce it again, I will beat you to death." It's like, come on, man.
The mark of ash will guide thee to the land of the lords. To Lothric, where the homes of the lords converge.
Really?
Very
Alright,
well.
let's go ahead and level up.
Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Will do, baby. Will do. Alright, let's go ahead and put a little bit to strength and dexterity, a little bit to vitality, and a little bit to endurance. I'll level up my dexterity just a couple more. Maybe one to vigor. I'm not going to worry about attunement until much later. I really need to worry about faith. Not at this moment. I don't actually remember what the greatsword requirements are, so once I figure that out, I'll allot my stats accordingly, but I know it requires a lot of strength. And strength also raises our attack power, so I can't complain about that. Alright, let's go ahead and confirm. Thank you, ma'am.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
She's very much like the old school firekeepers. May the flames guide thee. I personally prefer Varrior Nox. Let's run up here. Varrior Nox is actually something that one of the, what is her name? What is her name? Dusk of Ulasil from the first game. Yeah, she says that. This is this and a few items are probably the only nods you're going to get to Dark Souls 2. besides some vague hints. We all recognize this. It's a giant that's turned into a tree. Alright, let's examine. Seed of a giant tree is yet to fall. That happens when you're invaded. As you get invaded, you will it'll start like a counter, I guess you would say, and then eventually it will drop the seed. What the seed does, for those of you who play Dark Souls 2, if you drop it, all the enemies will attack the invader. Now I use this in an area with a ton of enemies. Let me tell you, it's friggin' hilarious. Now this, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you this because I'm terrible at this. As you can plainly tell, because I just murdered that jump. People online make this look so easy, and I'm just like, I don't know. Ugh. But you can get up here. There's actually a secret. There's a couple items up here. Okay, am I just not jumping correctly? I mean, I'll show you guys later. It's not hard to get up here. Holy crap, I'm just terrible today, folks. Okay, I thought I should have made that. There's a trick to this that I haven't quite mastered yet. Whoa. Okay, maybe I need to go right a little more. Basically running straight up the tree. Ugh, this tree is trying to murder me. Tree, why you do this? Thought we were friends. Come on. God, I suck at this game. This is Dark Souls 2 for those of us who don't do very well at jumping puzzles. That was a glitch. You all saw that. You all saw that. It knocked me back down. It knocked me back down. That's interesting. I took no fall damage from that, even though that's technically the same distance I jumped earlier. This is gonna suck. Because I can't come back here until I get... Yeah, what is going on with this? I'm usually a lot better with this. Ugh. If I can't do it, don't worry. I'll show it to you later. It's not a huge deal. It's just like a shard or something. Yeah, okay. I'm just not jumping right. Leroy. It's like there's a split second where you can jump, and if you don't do it right that second, yeah, forget it. I'm pretty terrible at this anyways. Alright, so we've leveled up, we beat the first boss. We essentially got told what we need to do. So, I think we're going to end that here. Whee! A little bit of damage never hurt anybody. Alright, let's go ahead and rest at the bonfire. You can see your Estus reinforcement, or allotment, I guess I should say, does not take effect until you rest at a bonfire. I wonder if he'll say anything now that I put the sword in there. You suck. Crust, bro. His name's actually Hawkwood, but they don't tell you that till later. So, that's going to do it for today, guys, and I will see you all next time. Later.